Now, when I first started out at CNET, and every now and then, now still, I spend a lot of time behind the wheel of our 2007 Chevrolet Aveo. And it was yellow, and it was crap, but I kind of liked it in spite of that. So it's only fitting that they've stuck me behind the wheel of this car this week. It's the 2013 Chevrolet Sonic RS. It's not the spiritual successor, it's the actual successor to the Aveo. It's sold under the Aveo badge in the world market. Now, if that yellow car was the lemon, I guess this bright red one is the tomato, I'll call it. Let's get behind the wheel and check it out. Now, the Sonic comes with a lot of small touches on the outside that also make it look pretty sporty. Out here in the back, we've got these tail lamps that kind of look like aftermarket tail lamps from about 10 years ago. It's kind of dated, but I don't mind it. I've also had a lot of fun watching people look around for the door handles here. They're actually integrated into the windows, which kind of hides them. Other touches that are specific to the RS include these larger alloy wheels that are actually a dark color, which kind of look, again, cool and aftermarket. And around front, we've got fog lights and, again, headlights that kind of give it a sort of aftermarket headlamp feel. Now in the cabin, we've got a lot of neat little touches that sort of speak to the RS's sporty message. We've got these RS Sport seats with embossing on the actual seat and a little bit of embroidery on the back with those RS logos and red trim everywhere that you look. And we've also got this motorcycle-inspired gauge package that's supposed to look like the sort of gauge pod on a sport motorcycle with a big digital speedometer right there and a large tachometer on the other side. One of the other things that the RS model also comes with is yet another variant of Chevy's Mylink System. This is the third variant that we've seen in the 2013 model year vehicle. You go into the different menus, you've got your audio sources, which includes AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio. You've also got USB for audio and pictures. It also says video, but I haven't gotten any codecs to play on this particular model. The interesting thing about this version of Mylink is that it works very well with apps on your smartphone. You see, we've got Pandora. We've also got Bringo, which is actually a navigation app that you can install on your Android or iOS phone. And when you connect an Android phone via Bluetooth, you get all of that connectivity. So I can pop into Pandora, and it'll actually open the app on my phone, sign into my account, and start playing songs from the last custom Pandora station that I've chosen. And then I'll actually also even have access to thumbs up and thumbs down, and then I can pop into the menu here and view the rest of my custom stations that I've already preset. If we pop back into the smartphone link and go into Bringo, and what it does is it doesn't exactly mirror the interface on the phone. It gives you a sort of custom car interface. It'll allow you to do things like search for destinations, enter addresses, and get those turn-by-turn navigations. The interesting thing about Bringo is that it's a $50 app that you install on your phone, and you get locally stored maps and turn-by-turn navigations as opposed to buying like an $800 or $1,200 navigation option. That's a very interesting way to keep costs down on this really inexpensive car and give the owners the sort of tech that they want. Now, underneath the Sonic's short hood, there's not a ton of space in the engine bay, but that's okay because it's got a teeny tiny little engine here. This is the 1.4 liter turbocharged Ecotec engine, and it's got about 138 horsepower, but the base 1.8 liter also has 138 horsepower. What you're getting here actually is an Eco engine in performance guise. You get 148 pound-feet of torque, which is more than the base engine, so it's a little bit more get up and go, but this isn't really a fast engine. Now, when equipped with the manual transmission, the EPA tells us you only get about 34 miles per gallon on the highway, 27 miles per gallon in the city, and that evens out to about 30 miles per gallon all around. Now, I've only got about 25 and change out of this engine, and that's because I didn't actually realize that there wasn't any power to be had, and I've been revving the crap out of it all week. Now, we called our 2007 Chevrolet Aveo the lemon because, well, it was yellow and it was crap. This Sonic isn't crap. It's actually pretty good. It's got an interesting engine. That turbocharged engine makes just enough power, but like I said earlier, don't fool yourself into thinking that it's a high performance engine just because you've got a turbo badge on there. 138 horsepower is just enough power for a vehicle of this size, and it's pretty high up in the power band, so you've got to actually rev the crap out of it to get access to it. What I find weird is the gearing, which is a little bit odd, particularly in stop-and-go traffic or when tooling around the city, where I often find myself in a weird no-man's land between first and second gear, where first gear is just maybe a little too many revs, making a little too much noise, a little too jerky, and second gear's maybe just not enough power to keep the vehicle moving. And I find myself constantly going back and forth between first and second gear. You got to do a lot of shifting in this car if you want to have any amount of fun with it. Now, one thing that the Sonic RS does really well, though, is handle. The suspension is actually pretty well sorted out for a cheap Chevy car. Has really good turn-in. The sort of initial responsiveness of the handling is pretty good. There's not a lot of feedback that you get through the steering wheel, but that's kind of par for the course in this day of electronic power steering. I'm not sure if this vehicle is actually equipped with it or not, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not feeling a lot through the wheel, but I am getting a pretty good seat of the pants feel through the suspension, which is firm but not punishing. I think 16-year-old me would love this car, but 16-year-old me didn't really know better. 16-year-old me was happy with a 1990 Toyota Camry. I'd be as giddy as a schoolgirl in this. Now, CNET chose the Chevrolet Aveo when we were looking for a test car for our stereo installs because it was the cheapest car in America in 2007 when we bought it. Now, the Sonic is no longer the cheapest car that Chevy makes, far be it it's not the cheapest car on the market anymore, but it is still pretty cheap. Starts at $14,785 for the entry-level hatchback model. Now, our RS steps above that with a lot of nice amenities and touches, features, but it still only tips the scales at $20,185. Now, there are no options to add on top of that unless you count the Bringo app for navigation. That's only about 50 or 60 bucks. Other than that, what you see is pretty much what you get. And as long as you're looking to look sporty and maybe not drive too quick, what you get isn't that bad.